What's up everyone? So as we know, iOS 12 was released, all that good stuff. I've been doing a lot of comparisons, and one comparison I haven't done on this channel at all was actually the iPhone 6s Plus and the iPhone 8 Plus. And I just recently re-got both these phones. I had the 6s Plus for a while. I never owned the 8 Plus until like 2 months ago, or even like a month and a half ago. So I kind of want to take a step back and compare both these phones. Not only am I going to compare specs and all this stuff, but I'm going to do a speed comparison as well. Both are running the latest version, iOS 12.0.1. Now both of these are still supported, so if you're watching this even on like iOS 12.3 or like a couple months down the line, it's still going to be pretty much the same thing. I mean, I don't think the performance is going to be that much different on both of them, so it's going to stay pretty much consistent. I'm telling you right now, the iPhone 8 Plus will probably be overall faster than the 6s Plus, but I don't think it's going to be that much faster in my opinion. Now, if you want to skip to the speed comparison, I'll put a timestamp on the screen so you can immediately just go to that if you don't want to hear the specs and everything. But I would really appreciate it if you stuck on board and listened to my voice and kind of became friends with me, but it's okay if you need to skip. Now, in terms of the date of release, the iPhone 6s Plus came out in 2015 in September. The 8 Plus came out just last year in 2017. And both these phones, the 6s Plus is about 3 years old at this point. The 8 Plus is only a year old. So really, like, between 2 years, they changed a lot, you know, not only in terms of just the internals, but the externals as well. You know, we have a completely different setup on the back. We have wireless charging on the 8 Plus. The 6s Plus does not have it. Both of them look pretty familiar on the front though. They both have Touch ID 2. The 8 Plus does have a better speaker system overall. You do have the front-facing earpiece as a speaker as well, whereas the 6s Plus does not have it. And looking at the back, we have a glass back on the iPhone 8 Plus, where we don't have that on the 6s Plus. We also have a dual camera setup. You know, we can do things like portrait mode, double optical zoom, whatever that is, and all those cool little things. The only advantage the 6s Plus here has in terms of the externals would probably just be the headphone jack. The 6s Plus still has it where the 8 Plus does not, but that's really the only advantage the 6s Plus has in terms of the external features. Another cool thing about the 8 Plus is that it is IP67 dust and water resistant, so you can go up to 1 meter of water for 30 minutes. The 6s Plus did have water sealing coating, but they never really classified it as IP60 something water resistant. So if you dip both in water for like a second, they both would probably be good. But again, if you dumped both in water equally for like 30 minutes and took them out, the 6s Plus probably would not make it where the 8 Plus would make it. So a little bit of difference there, but really it's only for emergency sakes. We're not going to go around dumping water on our phones all day. But in terms of the front, we have both the same 5.5-inch IPS panels. Apparently they say the 8 Plus does have a brighter screen, but I don't know, I don't really see it. I think they're both pretty bright. They're both 1080p IPS panels, like I said. Both have Force Touch. The 8 Plus does have True Tone display. A little bit of difference there, but the thing with True Tone is if you haven't used it, you won't notice it at all, you won't miss it. But if you have used it, you probably will miss it eventually. I know with my iPhone 10 I have it on and I like it a lot, but I never really cared about it before on my 6s Plus, so it's kind of up to you. But really the main difference here and why this video is kind of brought up in the later part of 2018 is because so many things change within a year. Not only do we get new iPhones, this and that, but we also get new operating systems, and software is a really important thing because it really changes how you use your phone. And considering the 6s Plus, it came out in 2015, it started off getting iOS 9. Right now it's upgradable to iOS 12. The 8 Plus, however, started off on iOS 11, and right now it's upgradable to iOS 12 as well. And I'll tell you right now, the 8 Plus is going to last you longer, at least 2 more years longer than the 6s Plus. Now, if my assumptions are true, the 6s Plus will stop getting updates around iOS 13. I think iOS 13 is going to be the last one it's going to get, whereas the iPhone 8 Plus will probably get iOS 15, maybe more. Both of them could go longer, but again, both of them could stop where I think they're going to stop. So the 8 Plus will technically last you 2 more years longer than the 6s Plus. So that's not taking anything away from the 6s Plus, but the 8 Plus is newer, so you kind of have to give that in hand. So it's kind of important to know. So in terms of software, they both can do pretty much the same exact thing. It's just the 8 Plus will just be a little bit faster, and that pretty much goes hand in hand with the performance as well. The 6s Plus has the Apple A9 chip, a dual-core CPU clocked at 1.84 gigahertz, and 2 gigabytes of RAM, where the iPhone 8 Plus has the Apple A11 Bionic chip, a hexa-core CPU, and 3 gigabytes of RAM. So in terms of those specs, again, like I'll say, the 8 Plus does have an advantage there. It has an extra gigabyte of RAM, it has a hexa-core processor, which is pretty cool, and it has the newer Apple A11 Bionic chip. And I'll tell you like this, yes, the 8 Plus will probably be faster, but the 6s Plus definitely isn't extremely slow either. The 6s Plus is still respectable. I like it a lot. It's still pretty powerful for the price point that it is. But how much faster is the 8 Plus? Let's go ahead and run that speed comparison and let's go check it out. All right, we back. I found out one weird thing before I even get into it. Dude, my 6s Plus, the home button doesn't, okay, now it works. Like the home button does not work Oh, it's working now, but before it wouldn't work unless the screen was on. So it's really weird. Like, it still fully works. It's just the weirdest thing. But speed comparison. All right, let's do it. I have the same exact apps on both these phones. Pretty much the same. I just have that emulator on here. That's the only different thing. We have both apps cleared out in the background. So let's just jump into it. Let's do the camera. 3, 2, 1. Pretty much the same. I noticed cameras are pretty much the same on both. Photos. 3, 2, 1. Same thing. Yeah, all these LiDAR tests, they're pretty much the same. Yeah, as you can see, they're pretty much the same. Let's do maps. 3, 2, 1. I don't know why 6S Plus looked like it was faster there, dude. This is not good news for the iPhone 8 Plus. Just kidding, guys. A lot of apps go back and forth, so sometimes some are faster here. It's just overall which one is faster. I'm pretty sure the 8 Plus is going to be overall faster. Let's do mail. 3, 2, 1. 8 Plus definitely was faster there. Let's do clock. 3, 2, 1. It looked pretty much the same on both. Let's do weather. 3, 2, 1. 6S Plus again was faster there. Kind of weird, was not expecting that. Let's do notes. 3, 2, 1. 6S Plus again is faster. Let's do news. 3, 2, 1. News was faster on the iPhone 8 Plus, so that's good news. No pun intended. Man, this I'm feeling good today, man. Let's do news. Let's do stocks. 3, 2, 1. iPhone 8 Plus was faster there. Let's go ahead and do iTunes Store. 3, 2, 1. And 6S Plus was faster there too. I wonder what's going on with the iPhone 8 Plus. Again, like I said, both of them are on the same exact version of iOS. Kind of weird. All right, let's do App Store. 3, 2, 1. iPhone 8 Plus was faster there. Thank goodness. Let's do iBooks. 3, 2, 1. And I think the 8 Plus was faster there, but I'm looking at it at an angle. So again, I could be wrong, but I think the 8 Plus was faster there. So that's enough of these apps. Let's go ahead and do the watch. 3, 2, 1. And I think the 6S Plus was faster, but I'll let you guys decide on that one. That one was a little weird. Let's go ahead and do YouTube. 3, 2, 1. And the 6S Plus again was faster. I wonder what the case is. I wonder why that keeps happening. Let's do Facebook. 3, 2, 1. And the 6S Plus was faster again. So weird. I'm not really sure what's going on here, but it is what it is. Let's do Twitter. 3, 2, 1. And the 6S Plus again is faster. That's so weird. I don't know what's going on. I think the 6S Plus should be slower by this point, I would imagine. Let's go ahead and do Fruit Ninja. 3, 2, 1. Now this is a little bit of a bigger game, so it's not humongous, but it will show us like loading speeds, pretty much which one's faster. I think the 8 Plus will load faster actually. No, the 6S Plus again is faster than the iPhone 8 Plus. This isn't really making much sense. Now, some people might say that because the iPhone 8 Plus has technically more apps than the iPhone 6S Plus, that'll make the phone slower, but that does not make the phone slower, technically speaking. At least it shouldn't make it that much slower, because think about it. The iPhone 8 Plus has way better specs than the iPhone 6S Plus, so even at this point, it should not be like that much slower in my opinion. Let's go ahead and do Temple Run then. 3, 2, 1. And I'm clicking both at the same time and everything. I'm trying to be accurate. And as you can see, the 6S Plus is getting faster, is much faster than the iPhone 8 Plus. And I'm not too sure what's going on. I don't know if I'm doing something wrong. I hope I'm not doing anything wrong because I'm trying to be as accurate as possible. But as you can see, the 6S Plus again is faster than the iPhone 8 Plus. Now let's go ahead and do Real Racing 3, 3, 2, 1. And literally just in this whole entire video, I've been saying that the 8 Plus is supposed to be faster, this and that, and now it's looking like the iPhone 8 Plus is actually slower. With the Real Racing 3, it looks like it's, oh no, I think the 6S Plus again is faster. Okay, so this one's already in the game. This one got in the game shortly after, so technically speaking, the 6S Plus got into the game faster than the iPhone 8 Plus. So I don't know what to say here, guys. The iPhone 8 Plus should have been faster at this point. Maybe there's something to do with the amount of apps, maybe, but I don't use this phone. I don't use either of these phones as daily drivers. And if I compared my iPhone 10 to my 6S Plus or my iPhone 8 Plus, the iPhone 10 would be faster too, but I would assume so. That's really crazy. Let's go ahead and load up the multi-core score then. I'll just load up on both. There's no competition. As you can see, dude, 150,717 on the iPhone 6S Plus, 245,146 on the iPhone 8 Plus. So technically speaking, the iPhone 8 Plus should be noticeably faster than the 6S Plus, but And all these tests, it seems like the majority of them are faster on the 6S Plus, but this could be a problem with the apps installed. They're all updated to the latest versions, as you can see, so I'm not too sure what's going on. Again, this is probably just a slight minor thing. The iPhone 8 Plus is overall faster on paper, but in terms of real use, that's kind of crazy. But again, for longevity and everything, obviously the 8 Plus is going to be better overall, but that's still kind of surprising on this specific version of iOS. On pretty much all versions of iOS 12, it seems like the iPhone 6 Plus is just a little bit faster than the iPhone 8 Plus. I don't know what's going on here, but I might make a whole separate video investigating this further, but in terms of that, I'll just leave that as is for the speed comparison part, and I'll let you guys enjoy the rest of the video. Alright, I hope you guys like that speed comparison. It's funny because I literally just go from the audio before to this. I don't even do it until after the video. But moving on with the camera, the setup here is completely different on both. We do have 12 megapixel cameras on both phones. The thing is that the 8 Plus does have an extra camera sensor. So it has two 12 megapixel sensors, whereas there's only one 12 megapixel sensor on the 6S Plus. I think that's pretty evident. I don't know why I explained it so long. And I'll definitely say that the 8 Plus camera is 100% better. Not only does it shoot better photos, but you do also have that telephoto lens where you can zoom in twice as much as on the 6S Plus. And on top of that, it does have more video shooting resolution, so you can shoot 4K at up to 60 frames per second and 1080p at up to 240 frames per second. So if those type of things speak out to you, then I'll definitely say the 8 Plus is much better. You know, you get portrait mode, portrait lighting, stage lighting, whatever those things are. All those cool little software enhancements that iOS is brought into with a double camera lens setup, where on a 6S Plus with a single camera lens, you're pretty much just kind of broken down in a box of the things you could do with it just because it's a single camera. But that's not to take anything away from the 6S Plus. I think it's a pretty good sensor as well. I'll probably, if I had to put numbers on it, the 6S Plus is probably around like a 6.5, 7, where the iPhone 8 Plus is probably like an 8.5 to 9. Like, I don't inspect photos 100% and try to like get everything and try to be like all this stuff. There's really no point in that, guys. Both of these are cameras. They're both pretty good. Obviously the 8 Plus is going to be better because you can do more with it, and that's pretty much the way I look at it. I take a photo, I'm like, is it good, yes or no, and go from there. You know, I don't really I just think it's kind of weird that phone manufacturers are like focusing so much on cameras now. I think they should focus on other things and some other way of innovating a phone besides the camera every single release, but that's just me. The front camera is also a little bit different. We have a 5 megapixel camera on the 6S Plus front camera, 8 Plus 7 megapixel front facing camera. Again, but they're both pretty good. Obviously the 8 Plus is probably better. I don't really notice that much of a difference though, if I'm being honest, but again, it has more megapixels, so they're both pretty much the same phone, just more megapixels, so I'll probably say that 8 Plus is better here, obviously. Now, one interesting thing to note, and this is pretty crucial if you plan on getting this phone now, either of these phones, honestly, the battery life on these is pretty weird because technically speaking, the iPhone 8 Plus had the smallest battery size out of all the Plus variants of iPhone. So the 6 Plus, the 8 Plus, whatever, the 8 Plus had the smallest amount. The 6S Plus had a 2,750 mAh battery. The iPhone 8 Plus had a 2,691 mAh battery. So that's pretty strange. I mean, I don't know why it went down from the 7 Plus. It stayed with the 6 Plus, went down on the 6S Plus, went up with the 7 Plus, and went back down even lower with the 8 Plus. Pretty weird. Again, you do have wireless charging on the iPhone 8 Plus, so that's a little bit of an advantage, but that's still kind of annoying. You will get overall better battery life on the 6S Plus, which is super annoying. I really wish they could just make it consistent and just increase the battery life overall, but they didn't. So I'll definitely say that the battery life on the 6S Plus is better, but one thing to note is that the 6S Plus is a little bit of an older phone, and what naturally happens with batteries is that they actually deteriorate over time. So it happens with every phone. It's not just iPhones, it's like Samsungs, LGs, whatever. Batteries over time do lose their power, so it's not at the full 2,750 milliamp anymore. It's probably at like 2,000, like 300, or even 2,000, depending on your battery health. Apple actually makes it pretty easy to go and check the battery status and check the health of your battery. So if you go to settings, click battery health, you can actually see how much battery life you have left pretty much, and you can go from there, go to the Apple store and get it fixed for like $30. So it's really not that big of a deal. So I'd really recommend that. You can do that on the 8 Plus too, but the 8 Plus is newer, so you probably don't have that many issues with it. But I'll definitely say that you should probably consider doing that on both these phones whenever you get them. But some other notable things to know, like I said, both of them have fingerprint sensors. They're both Touch ID 2. The 8 Plus does have the front-facing speaker effect, where the 6S Plus does not. And the 8 Plus has the glass back wireless charging, IP67 dust and water resistance. It also has an extra gigabyte of RAM and all those cool little other things. So I'll definitely say, obviously, the 8 Plus, if you have the money, go get it. It's an amazing phone. It'll last you many more years to come, and I just did a still worth a video on it. But between these two, I'll definitely say the 6S Plus isn't a horrible phone either. It does have a time and place. It's not the best phone right now. I would definitely say if you had to choose one, get the 8 Plus. But if you're in a pinch and you need something that's probably going to last you like another year or two, and you don't want to spend that much money on it and you don't really care if you break it or whatever, the iPhone 6s Plus probably would be a little bit better too. I mean, it's not going to kill you to keep it or to get a 6s Plus. And I'll say that even though the 8 Plus is overall faster, the 6s Plus is definitely like pretty respectable as well. It's not like extremely slower. I mean, you can wait like an extra half a second to open up an app or something, you know? And that's pretty much my take on it. You know, both these phones are great, but if you plan on picking one of these up and you want to help support the channel, I'll leave a link to a 6s Plus and an iPhone 8 Plus in the description below so you guys can go pick it up. And when you buy things through that link, you actually help support the channel. So it allows me to go get more phones and test more products and all these other things, more giveaways. So definitely purchase things through that link if you want to help support the channel. But that is pretty much it. If you guys have any questions or anything like that, leave it down in the comment section below. Hit that like button, that'll mean so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. Every single subscriber we get really does count, so it means so much if you guys could hit that. Also check out the other links down in the description as well. My Twitter, my Instagram, my second channel. I do a lot more iOS comparisons, especially for the Plus variants. So whenever there's a new iOS version, I try to do battery tests and I do benchmarking and everything to make sure whether it's good or bad or whether you should update or not on your specific devices. So definitely check that channel out. I really appreciate it. But more importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.